Welcome back to the channel. I am Matt Sokol, and today I'm going to be doing my final update in regards to sneaker consignment. So as some of you may know, I recently put out a video, which I will link above for you guys, where I tell you that I'm leaving the sneaker industry. I'm going to be going into sports cards 100%, which you can see behind me. All sports cards. And so, I'm in the process of selling off the rest of my sneaker inventory. I didn't want to leave anyone hanging since I know that a lot of people look to me specifically for consignment shop advice. And so this is the last installation of a consignment shop update, basically, which is kind of sad to say, but onto new things, onto bigger things. And I look forward to bringing you guys with me. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Click that bell to turn post notifications on as well, because there's going to be a lot more content on the way. Alright, so let's get into it. In my last sneaker consignment update video, I basically tell you guys that I was pulling everything out of the shops. I didn't really feel comfortable at the time, the prices weren't good, and I really just wanted to make sure that once Biden came into office that everything was going to be okay, that there wasn't going to be any additional shutdowns of any, tourist locations, any shops, anything like that. And I just wanted to make sure that the country was in a place where it was really just safe to have your items at a shop. And so now, as I'm saying this, it's almost March. Everything is fine. People are traveling. People are buying shoes. And so keep that in mind as I give this update. One thing over the last really 1 or 2 years even is that the prices at consignment started to come down, closer and closer to online platforms like StockX and GOAT. And part of the reason for that is specifically once the shutdown originally happened, I think they realized, hey, what we're selling is commodities. If our store is closed and we're just selling online, this is just a commodity. We have to compete on price. And so a lot of shops kind of lowered their prices even more to compete with online. And it became harder for people like me who are buying shoes specifically to send to consignment, because there's not much meat on the bone, especially factoring in shipping time, additional risk of that item really traveling to the shop, factoring how long it's going to take for that item to sell. And so there wasn't really much upside. And of course, since I'm exiting sneakers, I had to sell a lot of pairs of shoes. Jordan 1 light smoke gray, grade school sizes, Bread 350s, and 500 utility blacks. And so Yeezys always do well at consignment, specifically the 350. That's the #1 consignment model at any shop across the board. That's just what it is. Jordan 1 is also very strong. The Yeezy 500 is a little bit down that line, but it's still up there. The only shops I feel comfortable using right now would be Urban Necessities, which I currently do have stuff at, which I'll address in a couple minutes, and Flight Club, which I have nothing at right now. Stadium Goods, in the past I've recommended them, I've not recommended them. I would just say be careful with Stadium Goods. So you send them a big box of shoes, they get the shoes. Most of the shoes are fine, they process it in, it shows up in your account. But a couple pairs of shoes, they don't end up in your account. They actually can't be verified by Stadium Goods. They can't authenticate the item for whatever reason. And they deny stuff at a much higher rate than any other shop that I've ever seen, to be honest. Except instead of sending your item back to immediately, they don't send your item at all. It just kind of disappears into a void until you follow up and you're like, where's my item? And when I had that, I didn't get my item back for over 6 months. It was a huge ordeal. I couldn't get anyone to really tell me what was up. They didn't even say sorry. And eventually, months later, they're like, here's your shoe. And so it was just a horrible experience. And even though most items do get processed in fine, I have heard the same thing happen to dozens of other people, to be honest with you, specifically with Stadium Goods, which is why, since I'm leaving sneakers, I don't want to leave on a note telling people to use them. I think that you should make your own decision, but do be careful, because Flight Club and Urban Necessities, I ain't never had a problem with them not shipping me a shoe back. But I want you to keep in mind what I said earlier, which is the prices are not as good at consignment as they used to be, meaning that you're not going to make... I used to be able to sell stuff, seriously, at Urban Necessities for 20 to 30% over StockX lowest ask, and it would sell. But nowadays, they won't even let you list an item for that much. Well, they will let you list it, but then once you send it in, they'll send you a text or an email and go, yo, you need to lower your prices, which is very frustrating because Flight Club, if you used Flight Club, you know that you lock in the price before you send it, and that's it. Urban Necessities, they let you put whatever you want in, but that's not 100% locked in until they get it and enter it into the system. And they can adjust it. I sent them 3 or 4 packages, each with around a dozen pairs of shoes. And all of that stuff I sent them are those 3 models that I told you I'm getting rid of. So they processed it in, and to be honest with you guys, stuff's been flying. It's only been there for a week or 2. I think I've sold around like 15 pairs maybe. And so stuff's really flying there, specifically the breads. And you go on their site and you look at the breads and you see they barely even have base sizes. And so I am getting more than StockX by a decent amount. So I'm happy with it, but it's not as good as it used to be in the old days. But on the breads specifically, I've been doing pretty good. They did sell 1 or 2 of the 500 utility blacks, and they even sold 1 pair of the smoke grays. So not too bad. It's only been a short period of time. It seems like they're moving stuff, and UN, and again, I'm not affiliated with UN in any way, they're actually going to be moving their location to a much bigger spot. I think it's like 4 times the size of where they are now. And I believe it's going to be in the Caesars Palace. What's it called? Caesars Palace? Caesars Palace? I think it's just Caesars Palace. It'll just be in Caesar's Palace. So that's cool, and I'm sure they're gonna move a lot more stuff when that happens. Again, be careful with small, more local shops. They don't have the type of backing that a lot of these bigger companies have. They don't have the cash that a lot of these bigger stores have. And so you wanna be careful, because if they go out of business, you don't want them to take your inventory with them. Not only that, but smaller shops, they don't move shoes as well as bigger shops. I mean, it makes sense. They're in smaller markets, less customers coming in. So that's basically all I have to say about sneaker consignment. It's definitely okay to send stuff. The prices aren't as good as they used to be, but on certain items, there definitely still is an opportunity there. Thank you for being a part of my sneaker journey. I hope you guys join me on my new adventure into sports cards. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and click that bell to turn post notifications on so you don't miss a thing. I am Matt Sokol, and I'll catch you in the next one.